Welcome back, everybody, to top 8 of France. We got
France, Netherlands.
Netherlands. It's a
Close. Close. We were ruled by them once.
Sorry, we had French Wi-Fi.
God.
But got JJ joining us for the first time. Welcome.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
How did your Swiss run go?
I almost made top 8, but I botched it. I botched it super hard against a deck that should have been not free, but pretty decent matchup.
Colony, right?
Yeah.
Oh my guys, I think we're going to be transitioning into the main fight screen because I think that players are going to be about to be ready to go.
Yes.
There you go.
The timer stop.
They're good to go, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
We can try put the barrier up, but like
It won't
venue
really- it won't really
limitations be like.
Yeah.
Actually, we can try and just like slide it, but
Sure.
You can try slide it, but you don't really have to. You just talk about the cards you play after instead of
Yeah,
playing what you
exactly.
played before. It's fine.
unless you Ben, do you want to give me a hand? We can just try and
Sure.
roll it in, but we'll try. We'll try it out. But... Think of it, just rotate around.
You're stuck on something. Yeah. Careful with the cable.
Yeah, just push it in a little bit.
Yeah. More?
This will be 35 minutes.
Yeah, there we go.
This will be 35 minutes with 3 turns of the time.
The one benefit of it being a recording is error legend.
3 turns of 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then you can like hopefully cut out all the
There's no like, do it live!
We'll do it live.
Alright, we'll do it live.
Alright.
Okay, so yeah.
Sucks.
So we could just talk about the cards that we see after, or about the matchup plays out, rather than actively
Yep.
assisting.
Welcome to the majority of events this season.
Yeah.
It's par for the course, bro. It's tough.
Yeah, unfortunately there's a glare on this side that's a bit tough to fix because it requires turning all the lights off as it gets darker.
You just keep an eye on like as he plays them. Alright, so on the left we've got Masanori playing DI. It's not just any DI, it's the Gastille turbo.
Yep.
Fucking lit right.
Yeah, this deck is one of the most problematic archetypes that you can kind of come across, especially dealing with it in top 8 with an archetype playing like Narukami. Narukami does need to kind of establish a little bit of a mid to late game where he tries to scale into, but Masanori's deck is also looking to do that as well, trying to turbo into their 20 cards in soul for the Gastille V, especially the version that he's playing. It's pretty tough. What do you make of it, DL?
Like, the interesting thing with it is, like, we were talking about this earlier, where the main gimmick for the deck where it starts struggling into Narukami is if it makes it past the turn 4, makes it into turn 4, because by that point it would have normally kind of gone, it doesn't really matter what your hand is, because I'm going to set you to 1, so every card is going to be 15. I'm going to turn off all your auto abilities, and I'm going to have some making you guard in really awkward increments, because it gets to pry on the fact that a lot of people are on V grade 1s right now.
Yep.
Because the fact is, what do you want in your hand? What do you want to guard? You want V grade 1s and you want triggers. The trouble is that's 25. So that basically just says you know if you're on any form of like Hogon Dam. But you're gonna have to just contend with that.
I mean, Narukami does, of all the decks in the game, it plays a lot of grade 2s. So it does have ways of getting through that, but the issue is more like, it's kind of on, the onus is on Ravio to be the aggressive player. Like, he needs to like win before Masanori can get to that point where he's like, you die now.
Yep.
Because that's the thing, like, at no point will Narukami say, you die now, but Dark Regulus will. That's what he's playing around.
That's for sure. And of course, like one of the things that Ravio ended up having to discard just now is that his quick shield ticket, which actually helps a little bit in this matchup. So if you want to have a better matchup into it, for you people at home, make sure you try to keep your quick shields, especially into this matchup, so that it do make you use a skill to put something into damage. Since it is a pseudo card, it does not stay in damage. It just leaves, so you're fine.
Yeah, it just fades away basically. But the interesting thing is, like, because we were talking about like the power of like grade 1s, but I think the one place where Ravio is okay here is because he is on the 50 variant. It means that he is also running the Demolition Dragon rather than the Steve, which means it's a grade 1 that he's often going to commit to board, and because it's a blind draw, he's then most likely to end up with cards that he's keeping being grade 2s. So it's like maybe in that position he's like a little better off than we thought, but again, it's going to be a case where if Masanori is able to stabilize and call that hope in like a meaningful capacity, then it's over.
Yeah.
Oof, if he ends up whiffing here.
Spark Rays, this is,
Just complete whiff.
the downside here is that like whiffing the Spark Rays means that you don't have the you're less likely to have the tools you need to like aggro effectively.
But like for the people unaware, so for example, Spark Rays is one place top 5 for an Eradicator.
On Vanguard Circle.
On Vanguard Circle, you're right. Yeah, and if you find something, you discard a card from your hand, and then on hit Vanguard Warrior, if the attack hits, Soul Blast 1, draw a card.
Yeah.
So this plus Demolition Dragon makes for, you know, if your 22k columns are like requiring the double on hit, and those can get really, really scary, especially in like early game states.
Yeah. The thing that is beneficial though is that because DI is also a Protect/Axel clan, they're 9k grade 2. So even though he's going second, these Spark Razors will still hit the Vanguard unless Master hits a
And
defensive.
like on magic numbers too, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, oh, we get to see the Zuitan, which this is interesting because this kind of looks like the evolution of where the format split from last season went. Because last season this was all played in Sweep Command, and like watching people kind of decide which way they're going to take it. So especially here, deciding a lot of these crest decks scale into the late game, so you don't get to play that in the way that like Sweep Command could.
Yeah.
Because Sweep Command kind of allowed you to grind it out a little bit. But here you just go, look, I get 1 stride, maybe 2, and you just have to play towards that, so you just don't get those on games anymore.
Yeah. Like if it gets to that late game, we could even see a world where Ravio doesn't even go into an exterminate. He just goes ride, vowing, stunverse, and just hope that gets there.
You just hope that limit break skill pulls through, yeah.
It's like how many more crits or anything that be out of his deck, and he's guarding here with OT, so now that's something he doesn't need to worry about anymore. It's one of the fantastic things you need to think about in this matchup too.
Especially when the Gastille goes live, you're going to be contending with two crit rear guards and a 3 crit vanguard if you check OT.
Yeah.
And like that 10k really comes up because you're going to have to think, you have Gastille that you can't PG. If they have the resources, they're going to 4-fax you and you can't PG that either.
Yep.
And like when that happens, they're probably checking 2 to 3 triggers, so it's a lot to push through.
Yeah, you're pretty much banking on just the Sanctitude, because also, again, Gastille turn off autos disables a lot of Narukami's G-Guards on top.
So Ravio doing a very heads-up play here by poking both of the rear guards, not both, just one of the rear guards when he could. So we do have a Caliburn activation, a D-series card being added to this deck, drawing some cards, also giving you some additional soul charges. Also nice, if it can.
Because if I recall correctly, Calvin, it's either put a soul CC1 or draw 2, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And he's choosing to draw 2 here, which I think makes sense. Like, you've just been early aggroed, you need to stabilize going to the late game, you don't have time to stride yet. This is probably his
pieces as well.
Exactly. This is probably his way of, like, not clawing back the tempo, but, like, you know, catching up, as it were. The other thing to be aware of is definitely, like, no matter what happens next, Ravio is definitely going to start striding. And at that point, you will be dealing with, like, 5, maybe 6 attacks a turn. Especially because I think his list, Master's list, doesn't have Honolulu, right?
No. Yeah, I don't believe so, no. Because the interesting thing is, like, I wonder if, because there's some text you've been seeing in DI come up recently that we don't see here, but I wonder if they're going to start catching on, because there's been some decks going around trying to run, for example, Gildel Ray is like your main V Vanguard, which will allow you to basically, crazy concept from DI decks, touch your G-Zone. Because you get to basically stride Blade Mouse immediately and keep flipping Gildel Rays because they have the same name as the V boss.
So you get to use Blade of Mouse 4 times instead of 2. Yeah.
So you basically keep Turbo Soul Charm and you keep shuffling all your triggers back. And you keep, so it lets you play like Soul Fronts, your Soul Crits, like everything like that, and just keep cycling, which I think is like a really neat evolution. I wonder like any decks will do anything with that. Did you know there was a point in history where people like touching their G-Zone on DI?
Okay. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
I heard Balan was good at one point.
Oh, not even making a third column.
No, it doesn't seem like he's missing some pieces here.
20.
So, yeah, he's... Yeah, doesn't have the crit yet. Does have the power, but, you know, again, like, Ravio's on 0, the power is relevant. I think he does still want to guard... Yeah, he does still want to guard this, because, like, the cool thing about Narukami is that outside of the Vang reverse restand, you don't use any counterblast.
Interesting. He opted to just call the heal guard instead of G-guarding.
Oh, he's on grade 2. So
He's on
Oh,
grade
of
2.
course.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Talk too much about the G-Zone.
yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah.
I don't charge. And if I have a 10 card in my solo mob, I draw 2.
And he gets to put another card in his soul again, allowing him to set up just more pieces.
For a second, the foiling on Zuitan looked like the G-Guard promo from Megacolony, and I'm like, what? I'm like, huh? Am I seeing things? Jimmy, take me to the hospital!
So right now he's in a situation where Ravio needs to think, okay, do I need to take this 2 damage? I feel like he doesn't really need
No.
I feel like the one of the strengths for Narukami is it uses surprisingly low amount of CD without sweep command.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think... What?
Exterminate is pretty much Exterminate and
Yeah,
Choa
still.
are like the only counter blasts.
I
And the
think he's
Vowing.
on Choa.
And
I
I
think
think
he's on
most
Choa.
decks don't play Choa anymore either.
Oh,
He is on
never
Choa.
mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
he is on Choa. Okay.
Yeah, that
Me
and like
when I'm wrong.
the Vowing restand, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but like by the time the Vowing restand is like it only restands when you're at 4 damage meaningfully. right? So,
Exactly.
like, the CB cost like doesn't really matter.
And plus, like, if you're gonna first stride stun first, which I think you should.
Yeah.
So I think he's up.
Maybe if his board
peaking
isn't
here.
massive, then like, because like right now he gets what 1 draw off of that. That's it's
Yeah.
there. That's not like super what. Maybe if you history stride, then like you got an argument, but
Oh yeah, that's also not.
because I feel like in this matchup you kind of want to history stride because if you
I
don't,
guess
like
drawing
your
2 off the
pressure is so
Axel,
much lower.
yeah.
Even beyond the draw, just like the pressure of those 2 to 3 extra attacks near you because normally they'll be restanders, right?
Yeah.
Or like on hit draws. So.
Yeah. And very good heads up play here from Ravio using a PG, discarding a card here because he knows like later into the game he's not going to be able to use that card anymore.
Exactly, using the PGL user hand. So I think that is the
Yeah, VFD.
Vowing reverse.
Is it VSD? Vowing Saber reverse. Right?
Yeah, Vowing
VSR.
Saber. Makes the Axel.
Draws here. Let's see what he's going to use for stride. Is he on Esperidia as well or no?
No. So his only restander is Choa.
Okay.
But he does run the grade 3 from set, I believe it's set 8. On attack, soul blast 1, bind 3 from that
Yeah.
drop. If there's no 3, then 10k.
10k, yeah.
Yeah,
Not once per turn, by the way.
Not once per turn.
Again, with VSD, that's a
It's pretty
choice.
solid. Is he also on the Eradicator stand? I don't think he is, but that's...
I would assume not. I don't think that's been a very common slot. No.
No, yeah. Just random counter charges can sometimes be useful. I'm looking at his G zone, like, oh, he's got the... Is that Conquest? That's Conquest, right? That's interesting. That
Conquering Supreme Dragon, Conquest Dragon.
Yeah.
The Conquest Dragon.
no, that's the
again.
old Conquest. I think that's what we saw
That's
is the new Conquest.
2019.
Yeah, which is solid. I just don't know if it's that good.
So the funny thing was, I actually lost to it in France. Sorry, in Vienna last year.
Okay.
Because in the mirror, it flips 1 more than Exterminate does. So you hit
Right.
your GB8 1 turn sooner in the mirror.
Okay.
Unironically, that came up. Like, I lost the game on that.
Spicy.
Because it was a turn I had to stride and
Okay,
hit
so he is-
GB7 when he was GB8. So like,
I think that's Exterminate. Okay,
Yeah,
so
he
he's just
does
going to
do
Soul Blast
Exterminate.
1 to draw 1.
Okay.
unless you could, in fairness, you could just call a heal.
And then Counter Blast 1, yeah.
I don't think you do, but like you could.
Yeah, it's kind of low value.
It is, but I think just on that alone, it's fine,
Yeah.
honestly. Because this is still 2 on hits, a bind 3, so it's your full drop zone plus your bang out zone. Like, I think it's fine.
Yeah. The only downside is that...
So it's CB1 for the draw, Soul Blast 1 for the effect. No, Soul Blast 1 for the draw, CB1 for the effect, right?
Yeah.
The-
Well, the only downside is that, as we saw, the Rearguard Spark Grace has to enter the Rearguard because it's in Hit Vanguard, because it's just a 9k.
it just needs to hit though, doesn't it? Or does it need to hit a bang?
It's the Hit Vanguard.
Sure.
On the plus side, now the Zuitan doesn't gain power,
But it draws.
but it will now draw at the end of turn, which is pretty valuable.
Yep. He can also hold on to triggers if he needs to.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about this turn is that he's just not putting that much pressure onto Masanori.
No, not at all.
I think on 3 damage you can play the slightly slower game. I think like because you're on 0, right? Like what are the odds you just get blown out?
Yeah, true.
Well, there's a crit here, so that kind of answers that question. You can give power to Zuiton and then crit to the Axel grade 3.
Or you just go.
I think crit,
the
just
other
crit to
way.
the Zuitan because it's bigger, because it becomes 19 as opposed to 17.
True.
Or he just does it all to the Gunning Strega, whatever the card's name is. I don't remember.
Stegosaurus.
It's
I think that-
Crumstegger, that's it.
Yeah. I think he divided it. Oh,
Ooh,
another one.
Well, now we can just,
Double up.
Yeah.
Double dip.
I think he's just all in and threaten a lethal swing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 29, but
Okay.
29.
So he got here himself.
No, it's
A ring
I feel like knowing that, you maybe want to have gone with the Crumstregger first to get rid of the drop zone before, because you know they're going to guard that anyway.
But I guess it gives him more selection of getting rid of more cards on drop. I guess.
True.
and 5k shield.
I suppose this also lets him have the potential of if his opponent is on resource heals. Odds are he isn't, but if.
Yeah, to get rid of the heal.
Because you never know, some people have just teched it, even if it's technically detrimental to the deck, sometimes you just need that 1 extra.
Yeah.
And if you think if you know people won't think you're on it, then you might be try it out and see what happens. So like getting rid of potentially a heal could factor into that.
And 1 damage.
But no, Masanori has enough drop zone that he doesn't need to make that choice anyway, so it's fine. Takes the 4th damage, which is actually really good. Like having 2 counter boss open and going to the Gastille turn means that you get a little bit more reach.
You get full combo, like
Yeah. So we'll see if he...
I think he's on 15, 16-ish is what I come to.
Yeah.
Monochrome.
Oh. So the one sad thing is we've not seen any Foo beyond the first, and unfortunately for this deck, Foo is like your worst, right? Because that means you only get one proc out of it, and you want. Because if you think about it, if you had another grade 1, any grade 1, and called Foo to real, like he'd be on 20 right now.
Exactly.
And like, unfortunately, that's just one of the things that the deck can kind of
The other
spook
thing
you
about
sometimes.
Foo as well is that it's a body, so like the attacks would have been hard to guard. Like Ravio might have been forced to go to 1.
But in fairness, Ravi would have probably just like found a way to pop it.
Yeah.
Charge 1. Whoa.
But in fairness, both parties have kind of been breaking a little bit because Ravi, for example, hasn't seen any demolitions.
Yes.
Like
Okay.
no demolitions.
What Ravi probably
Or
wanted.
that, or he's keeping them in hand because 2 demolitions is 20k shield, which is hope on damp numbers.
True.
So, and
I feel we'll find out because if he was, he'd probably commit them next turn.
Yeah.
Or just call them all and go in. Men go in.
Because at that point, like if Mastermind commits, then there's no way he's surviving whatever else he can throw at him.
So forward, I'll go into Soul here. Doesn't really need that anymore.
Oh, another one. Jeez.
Another.
Oh, there's the Foo as well.
Yeah.
Yep, you already resolved it for
He
right.
just now, yeah.
Hmm.
So I think he's now on 18.
Wrong.
You have Foo and Cat, right?
And then second cat, so now it goes up to should be
19
19
or
now.
20.
Yeah, 19.
19 and 20, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
and that's out.
Draw a card. Let's see.
One more. Can you do it?
Should be able to.
Show me the Foo. Oh, there we
Fuck
go.
versus.
That's corner.
There we go.
And you can also pop something. You can pop any of the interceptors.
One of the 2 interceptor. Well, the interceptor.
Well, Interceptor all the time, but I think Interceptor is more important here if you're going for like kill turns.
Yeah,
So you can call up Foo here if he has another one as well, or Monochrome. Obviously, that's also pretty good too.
just a monochrome again. It's really solid. And again, just compresses that deck so that you swing with like the crit rear guard, and then you guarantee driving a stand.
Because the thing is, well, if you don't get rid of the Interceptor, it means if they go like 20k plus Interceptor, that's a 2 pass.
Yeah.
As opposed to being, it's a 1 pass instead of being
No
nothing.
pass.
Oh no, it is 2 because they stay on 13. They stay on 12.
No,
You-
because he's got the foo, so you give 5k to Vanguard,
Sure.
which I think he's probably going to want to do.
Yeah, so here we go again. Doing a little bit of counts here.
Because it sets the power to 1, right?
Yeah.
Not 0. Because that wouldn't matter. Because if you give the 5 to like the forward, for example, like it would be 20, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't matter.
But yeah, in this case, it's like 20k to go.
Foo, try to sculpt his hand a little bit.
Because the thing is, that people like often fall for in this deck is you try and hit like 15 over, but 15 over is meaningless. Because like pushing the 15 over to 20 over doesn't matter because it's the same 20k, right?
Yeah, 20
So-
to 25 is the
yeah.
big difference.
If you're bigger by 5, then like stop there unless you can make it bigger by 25. Like there's just no point
Yeah.
unless intercepts come in.
There's the Kierga.
One.
Hmm.
Front row gets an additional +5.
That's 1 card of my
Yeah, we're seeing it's the
sword in my hand.
Kierga.
this one, right?
Yeah. So this deck was originally pioneered by a friend of ours in London called Josh,
Josh, yeah.
also referred to as KJ in the community. And this is, to my knowledge, like one of his favorite cards of all time.
Because he's a big, like specifically Gastille player.
Yep.
Came 3rd place in Cardiff this year. Really happy for him. I can finally say somebody from my school is going to Worlds.
There you go. But yeah, like the 5k to the front row as well is also massive because again, it just really pushes that number a little bit easier to get into the magic kill range of plus 25k shield.
That's right. Was that a Heal Guardian we called on the front row over there, or no? Or was that something else?
Is that so?
No, I think
No, that's forward and the that's hope and down.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
hope and down. Orange in one hand, blue in the other. Hope and
Yep.
down.
yeah, called over the Kierga with a cat, just
You want the
cat
hope
one
is
more
down.
time.
Does he have Cat again?
Yep.
So unfortunately as well, we're gonna have to remind the people at home of this most traumatic lie. It's a card. It was printed in a set. It's one place if your soul has 20 or more different cards, they can only call in increments of 20.
Yep.
So like
Original,
shield.
yes.
Shout out DP. Shout out DP, we'll never forget you. But John, like, what do you think? Like, do you think that there's a world where, like, besides defensivity, like Rapio gets like particularly
It's a possibility.
stabilized?
If he uses the Guardian Shield here to put it into the damage zone, and if he maybe whiffs like a monochrome or 2 or ends up soul charging 1 or 2, I could possibly see it.
I think Ravi already used his Guardian Shield to guard with.
Yeah.
Oh, he
He
did.
did, yeah.
Oh, no.
Because I think we made a comment on that with turn 1 and 2 when it
Yeah,
happened.
but at the same time, I think like if you're on 0 damage, blanking that Gastille damage doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because it's in twos. So if anything, it gives you 1 more to like work with.
So the only option would be like you still are only taking 2 attacks maximum. The difference is that you can't afford to like no guard the Vanguard and hope that he only gets 1 crit.
But the thing is, because Masanori is at 4 damage, I think it gives Ravio like it's actually incentivized to take the damage because you have better like heal increments.
Yeah, exactly. You heal from 5 to 4.
And you heal from 4 to 3. With it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you heal at 4.
Yeah.
'Cause instead of being like I have to take 1 and the second damage I take, it's I can't heal the first one. Here you on the second one you can heal either of them.
Exactly.
And like end up in the same spot. Because nothing feels worse than your opponent being high. You checking blank, like the damage before you could heal, checking a heal. So this puts you like in the heal range, like and attack sooner, but like the numbers don't change.
Yeah.
Charge.
Oh god, another nominated soul charged. Oh no.
Beginning of battle.
Oh, my favorite words. Beginning of battle.
Oh, I think he drew into a monochrome though, so he's Ravio's kind of safe-ish for now. So now we.
So it's got to put a card from hand into damage.
Yeah, I draw 1, all cards in squid 2. Wait, sorry. No auto ability, and you put a card of your hand in your damage zone.
The only real thing Ravio has going for him is that the forward revertus column is not that big. I think Mastermind forgot to give out the 5Ks with the foos.
It's optional.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know, we wouldn't, but
I think if you give it the 5Ks, the soul charge is mandatory, right? So maybe he just doesn't want to deck out.
Is there a secondary soul charge?
Yeah, Foo is like give 5K, and then if you do soul charge, right?
Yeah, it's just being a bit slow, so
Oh, no,
you may soul charge.
And then if you soul charge, give 5K. So yeah, I guess he just didn't want to soul charge, which makes sense because he's on the verge of decking out. But I mean, again, having that power line just really, it's not difficult, but again, Ravio has room to take 2 attacks. 2 defensives saves his life.
Do we see Masanori out of OT out of Masanori side? We did, right?
Yeah, he got
he
it.
got it early.
Has to
Like
be, yeah.
one of the first
Because I'm
attacks
like
he
3 in
got.
deck, like surely you're not on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's still a draw trigger, that's a gamble. I don't
I think we can't see it from this angle. It's also worth asking how many crits are in his soul for the 4 facts.
more than 3.
More than 3. Yeah.
So it should be fine.
So I think there's like 1 more monochrome in deck, maybe 1 more crit in deck, and then the rest of crits are in soul. So he's being chill.
First check, crit,
Ooh.
all effects. Oh no, all effects are crit. Power
Yeah.
rigor. Second check.
Yeah.
Edge in the
I was
night.
gonna say, I think there's actually a world where
Edge in the darkness, sorry.
I think there might have been a world where Ravio tried to guard these 3 attacks and then no guard the 4 facts because the 4 facts is maximum 4 damage.
And there's all no units right now in the damage check. That is
Not
devastating to deal
Yeah.
with. Now everything is lethal. So we're discarding 5 from our hand. I think like double to triple monochrome out of hand.
Yep.
So stand trigger option is low, but does not make this less than scary.
Yeah. And again, because the attack pattern is always Vanguard then 4 facts, if you hard guard the Vanguard, even if he gets crits on the rear guards, you can still afford to no guard the 4 facts, take the 4, and then pray for a defensive to get you past the rear guard swings. Whereas now, I think Ravio is basically
OT or bust.
yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, so that crit kind of messed up his attack sequencing then.
Yeah.
Or his guarding.
He does still have heals and OT in the deck, so he could still afford to take one of the rear guards, provided
They're all 2 crit.
they are all 3 crit.
2 crit, yeah, they all get front hits too. But then, yeah, if that's, I guess the argument is if
And
you
then
think
he
he's
has
going
to
to
bank
crit,
on
then
the
you
heal.
should have put the ticket if you had it.
Exactly.
Is he really
Because the problem is that
yeah.
once you stride the 4 facts, nothing
Crit.
else is guardable after that. Because if you guard the 4 facts, the crits go on the rear, and then you're in hard place anyway.
Crit, and probably crit again.
That's an insane amount of power.
Yeah, which again makes none of these rear guards guardable anymore, or you can't afford to take any of these rear swings anymore. So yeah, splitting the crit makes sense now. Everything is lethal.
And the third one,
There it
last
is.
crit.
Not a surprise.
When the critical is triple,
4 facts will do that.
Yeah, for sure. It's like one of them is like quadruple crit right
I think
now.
at this point now, Ravio's only out is to take the one that only does 3 damage and just hope that you heal and OT at least twice within those 3 checks.
Or even like a double heal is also sufficient if you have enough
Yeah.
guard for the last attack as well.
But you definitely have to guard this 4 crit swing. That's
Yeah.
just non-debatable. And because it's 2 triggers on top, that now gets past the extra 20k threshold. So now you need to guard with increments of 40k shield.
Yeah.
With 3.
Okay, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so this is the one you take, I think.
Full damage is 58.
50.
So do a 60k shield.
So,
60k shield.
so but a
Unless you hit defensives.
yeah, if you hit like a double here, I think you
this
get
is-
You have to hit 2 triggers, but
Yeah.
I mean you need that anyway,
Yeah,
right? So.
20, 20, 20.
and semantics for the elementary, everybody should be removed from game, but it doesn't.
At this
it doesn't,
point,
it doesn't
yeah.
matter right now.
Yeah.
He's not getting to GBA. But yeah, like this
Me,
is.
we're not removing it means I'm only at 29 and drop.
Oh, I wonder, does he play the Guardian grade ones?
Yes, I think, does he not? He should.
That'd be insane if he does.
Let's have a look at his list real quick.
If he plays the Guardian grade ones, it
Oh, he
could
does.
give him,
Yes.
it could give him some
That
reach
could be
here.
the
No
out.
autos.
Yeah.
Oh,
5.
But there's still, this is still just
But you
20k
can play for
shield.
2 guards.
Yeah.
Bulwark is a continuous,
Right, but that's only 25, which is not enough. Like, because this
but it
is,
helps in like small.
yeah, but like
things, right?
this attack is what 50. This attack is exactly 50, and the other one is
Well,
60.
if he swings for 25, then it guards it, right? It's like it's
Yeah, but this is 50.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like a 52 of them. do it,
Sure.
right?
but his grade is not 1 right now, right? So it's not a.
He
that's
can
the-
G-guard, yeah.
Yeah, he can G-guard. Okay. That's not that bad then.
No, but again, like 50k power is asking for either two lots of 20, which is 40k shield, which is easily 4 cards minimum, and then the other one is 63, which is asking for 3 lots of 20, which is another 6 cards minimum. And like Ravio just doesn't have
He's
that much
taking
hand.
first check.
He eats it.
Nothing. Second. OT.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Okay,
Okay. If
100
he,
mil to Vanguard, blanks the last attack, and heal on the last one.
if he heals,
Draws a
so he
card.
draws here, draws a card. What does he draw? We don't know yet. And
Ooh,
so close.
Almost clutched him.
Yeah, almost.
yeah.
7 to OT, but
So-
one more.
Yeah, I'm still of the proponent that if he had put the Guardian ticket into the damage zone, it could have made it a little bit easier for
It would
him.
have made it. He could afford to have the wiggle room taking the crit. Whereas by having the 1 card of damage, he has to guard the Vanguard swings and take the 2 crit rares. Yeah.
So Gastille takes it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Gastille wins.
I think it's possible. I think it's possible.
Like I said, like a lot of people don't know how it works.
So maybe-
People don't know how to play against it. Like I
Maybe
said.
Victor can do it top 4.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because now you need half the judges.
Yeah.
Ready to come up?
Yeah,
We're
me
going
as well.
we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes. Take care, guys.